So, show. I'm not gonna be here too long because if you can't tell, Ia is super congested. I am. Oh, yes, sir.
Can I have more piece of cake?
Go ahead and eat the last piece. Oh! So, Lafayette, everybody. Like I said, I won't be on here too long because I got sniffles. But um, my what you call it? My body double co-pilot for today is busy, so I guess I'll body double with y'all. Alafia Janiqua. Alafia, everybody. Hi. Um, Alafia Logan. Alafia, everyone. Greetings and salutations. Alafia. Agbo ato shuri wari wo food. So we have it's a nice little snow day and all the things. And so Lafia darling, Agbo ato shuri wari wo food. Thank y'all for the glitter badge. So I wanted to honestly just chit chat. Honestly, I just want to chop it up with y'all. I just want to chit chat, say what up, what up though, um, and um, in light of things, I thought maybe a little bit of something else might be beneficial. A little bit of something else to help y'all get through. Um, Are y'all taking care of your mental? How are y'all doing? Um, how is y'all's mental? How's your emotional? How are you nourishing yourself? Are you taking care of yourself right now? Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. Um, I know there has been a lot of the things, and there's going to be a continuance of a lot of the things. So it's extra important that y'all are taking care of yourself. Somebody on my Facebook had posted a question where, "Hey, Alafia, honey, it's nice to see you on the tube of you." Um, so somebody posted a question about how you take care of your mental well-being, and real quick, y'all, somebody one what's 256 divided by 2? Help me. Help me. Y'all know if it's not numerology, I can't do math. Somebody do some math for me. Somebody get a calculator. Help me because I'm too congested. I'm too congested to do mental math. What's 256 divided by 2? Help us sister out. But they asked this question about, uh, thank you, about, how do you take care? What were some things that you helped to improve your mental health? And I was like, that's a really good question. And I thought about doing a video, but I was like, I feel like this is a longer form answer. So I feel like I just share it from like lived experience. And this is my personal lived experience. So everyone else who has their own things going on mentally, take care of your mental health the way that you need to. Whether it is therapy, whether it's medications or any of the things, please do what is best for you. Do what is best for you. I always advise even my students, like, you're taking spiritual coaching with me is not a substitute for therapy. I am not your therapist. I can offer counsel and guidance, but I'm still not your therapist. You still should have that other part, that other modality in in your pocket if you are able to. If you're not, that's a well and good. But if you're able to have a therapist, I feel like you should, especially if you live here. Especially if you live here, heavy on if you live here And you look like me. Thank you. Heavy on the if you live here and you look like me, you should have a therapist. You should have somebody that you are talking to that is going to support you in your mental wellness. That should be there. Uh, so one of the things I wanted to talk about that because it is something that I went through. And still from time to time I have to like deal with it. Just because I'm an ENIFA doesn't mean that life doesn't mean that the things happening all around me in the world or don't touch me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. What it does do is puts me in a position to where I have a particular set of tools, skills, practices that support me. But until that became a thing, I had to like go through some stuff. And I remember being at my corporate job, leading all these amazing things, and we did some things for Mental Health Awareness Month. And when we were talking about it, I decided to share my bout with postpartum depression, just depression in general, feelings of not wanting to be here. And everybody in the room is looking at me like, what do you mean that you had, like, what do you mean? You're always, I am. I am. That is probably where the stereotype of the Aquarius is being emotionally aloof manifested me is where I won't let you see. Like I just would not like the queen of bottling up the emotions was I. The queen of bottling up the emotions was me. And I had to learn to stop doing that because it was affecting my health. My youngest son, he wasn't a preemie, but he was early. So he was still technically full term, but he did not go, we did not go the full 40 weeks because my baby said I got to get out of here because my blood pressure was looking stupid. And so before I developed preeclampsia, I went into labor. Like I did never develop preeclampsia, but I did go into labor early because my son was like, yeah, before we get to that bad, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to chuck the deuces and exit. And even then, I wasn't willing to acknowledge what was going on. Even then, I wasn't willing to acknowledge it. My doctor, one time for having Black women taking care of Black women's health because my blood pressure was like 170 something over 100. And that particular day,
I just
hold on. What do you mean? What happened to it? It probably got a little wet. Just let it sit down and be still. But it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
But I just put my leg on it.
You put your leg on it. It still looks great. Y'all, look. This is my son, and yes, he drew this. Yes, he drew this free-handed, just off-site. So it looks fine.
Come on, get back together.
It's totally together. It's just bent a little bit. It's not gonna go like perfectly flat. Like it's not gonna go back perfectly flat. Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Can I help you?
What do you need?
It's a computer. It's Zoom.
Yes.
It's a frosting.
Yeah.
Can you help us to sound better?
Child, he want to play with it. Like where other kids want action figures, he just draws his own. That's his action figure. He just draws his own action figures. There are no cookies in that bag. Oh, wait, did you find a? Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, let me just tell y'all.
Miss Cookie. Does Miss Cookie look right?
What do you say? You're welcome. Yeah, it's still flooring here. It is. It's still flooring. All right. So when I went to the hospital, so first off, I went to the hospital and I went by myself because that particular day I was, let's just say somebody said something to me and on my lunch break, and it sent me into a spiral, and I had to stave off trying to have a panic or anxiety attack while I'm driving home. And when I'm driving back to the office, crying, weeping, and I get back to work, I go upstairs and deliver an amazing presentation, and nobody knows anything's wrong with me. But by the time I got home, my blood pressure was stupid. I go, I'll go to the hospital. I didn't say that. Um, I did I go to the hospital, and when I went, I I called an Uber to go to the hospital, and I went in the living room, and I was like, "Stay here with Jaheed. I'm going to the hospital." And he's like, "Why are you going to the hospital?" I said, "Because my blood pressure is really crazy, and I'm too far in my pregnancy to let it stay this high, so I have to go." And he's like, "Well, nope, don't take me. I'm going to the hospital by myself." So I go to the hospital, and my doctor makes me stay. So I'm thinking it's bad. It's not that it was bad. She admitted me so I could go to sleep by myself unbothered. She admitted me in the hospital so that I could have a good night's sleep. This is what it looks like when you have a doctor that gets it. She admitted me into the hospital not because of any other reason, because she wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go back to basically the source of why my blood pressure was high. At the same time that I'm in my last pregnancy, my son has regressed, which is what a lot of times happens with children that was on the spectrum. He has regressed. So I'm already trying to deal with this. He's not talking, he's not doing all the things he was doing. And I'm like freaking out. Yeah, she is definitely a girl's girl. My doctor is definitely a girl's girl. And they had been threatening me. Like I had my regular OB, and then I had a high risk doctor because I was high risk. And both of them were like, if you don't get your blood pressure under control, we're gonna make you come out of work early. And the idea of coming out of work early terrified me because I was in a place of lack. And I just had this feeling like if I was not working, I was not going to be able to pay my bills. Even though there were two people in the house, I still was like freaking out. So when I finally, you know, blood pressure came down, it still would come down to normal. And even after having my son, I still ended up having to stay on blood pressure medicine. I remember 2019 just being in pain physically all the time. Thank you for the like. I think that probably might have came. I don't know if that came from YouTube or Facebook because I can't see. But thank you either way. And I ended up like in pain all the time. I was nauseous all the time. And I ended up going downstairs to the doctor. She gets some blood work done for me. And they can't find anything wrong, but they know something's wrong because the protein your body produces when you have inflammation, it was double in me. I had CT scans and everything. They didn't know what was going on with me. I was stressed. It was literally stress induced. It was literally my depression and anxiety that I had been bottling up, decided one way or another I was going to have to resolve it. So I started going to therapy. And I say going back because I started going to therapy after my firstborn son passed away. So I started going back to therapy. I found a Black woman therapist. Praise God for that. It was like talking to my auntie. Like I didn't have like grow up with an aunt like that. So when I say talking to my auntie, I mean like that stereotypical relationship you have with your Black aunt. That's the relationship I had with my therapist. That's how it would be to talk to her. And talking to her And it was funny because she's not the one that put me on antidepressants. They were trying to treat what was wrong with me in terms of the inflammation. And they thought that I may have fibromyalgia like my mom. So they started treating me for fibromyalgia just in case that's what it was. And Cymbalta. So they put me on that. And I couldn't function. When I say I could not function, I could not stay awake. It was just like, yeah, I wasn't depressed because I was asleep all the time. I couldn't function. And this went on for months. It was not until the reality is having a spiritual awakening is honestly what helped. Because all of a sudden I am learning about myself. And for me, it's not enough to learn. I'm an Aquarius. I have to integrate what I learned. So I started integrating the stuff that I was learning. And I started taking spiritual baths like every week. I took a spiritual bath every week. Every week from head to toe. Like, I don't understand people who, whether they're in Ifa or not, that don't include their hair in their spiritual wash. I just don't understand. But from head to toe, I was spiritually cleansing. And I remember just doing that. And then my mentor at the time had me, yee, happy Aquarius season. Happy early birthday to you if it has not already come up. Um, but I remember doing all these things. I'm doing the spiritual washes and spiritual cleansings. I've discovered content about all these various spiritual. Y'all know what it's like. You go through a spiritual awakening, the algorithm does its thing. Every possible spiritual content you can find shows up. So I've got pick a card readings, calling me to task. I have all these pick a card readings, and I'm like, Heifer, is you stalking me? Talking about there's this masculine energy that's around you that makes you the butt of his jokes. How you know? I don't even tell my friends don't even know that. How do you know? So doing work around trying to heal all of these things, going to therapy. Like I said, I'm doing both. I'm doing all the spiritual stuff and I'm going to therapy. So it's both. There's a two-pronged thing. You are spiritual and physical. So I am addressing both sides of the equation. I've gone to my primary doctor, I've got therapy, and I've got a spiritual practice. I was addressing my physical life and my spiritual life and developing a better relationship with myself and talking about what was going on and taking things and implementing new behaviors is what helped with my mental health. It's honestly the thing that helped me with my mental health. And I turned around and looked one day and I said, I'm not on medication. I had the medication, but I remember waking up not in pain. And it's like, well, maybe I won't take it today. And then I woke up another day, not in pain. And I said, oh, maybe I won't take it today. Until I realized I wasn't taking it or the stomach medication. And with the stomach I had an endoscopy and everything done. They could not find anything wrong internally that was causing me sick. And I remember exactly. Like we got a tag. It's a tag team effort. They're not working. Hey, Earth Angel. It's not that our physical and spiritual are not working together. They are working in tandem with one another. And thus, when we handle things in tandem like that, we end up getting a more holistic reaction. Like it helps us on all levels. And I'm very grateful for the doctors that ended up being brought into my life at the time, because even the guy that did my endoscopy, even the guy that was handling my internal, trying to figure out what was going on to my tummy, that particular day, something was said, and it started at work. Like it started before I left the office to go to my doctor's appointment. And I'm like at my desk weeping. And I go to the doctor and I'm trying to keep it together and I am failing miserably. He's not my therapist, he's not my GYN. And he comes into the room where I'm waiting and he could tell I am stifling tears. And he's got his clipboard, he put it down. He says, "How are you today?" And that was enough. And so I end up telling him what happened. I don't know why. I'm just talking to him because he was willing to listen. And I told him what happened. And he gave me some sound advice. Did I listen? Probably not. That's the truth. But the message had come to me in the same form multiple ways. Like, yeah. But he told me what I needed to do. And I was not quite ready to make that leap because I was afraid. I wasn't ready to make that leap because I was totally afraid that if I did, I didn't know what was going to happen with me and the kids. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't ready to take that step. Uh, and him being able to just like, I'm like, "I'm so sorry." He said, "Don't apologize." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're not." He's like, "I am a doctor, and part of this is your wellness. It's my job to listen to you. Whether it was you not okay with your stomach or you're just not okay emotionally, this was my job." And I'm just like, I gave him the biggest hug. Like, I was so grateful to him, the absolute biggest hug, because I had not had the greatest relationship with doctors leading up to him. And so, at least not men doctors. And so he was like the absolute best. I only was there with him for those just to see what was going on my stomach, but I appreciated how he showed up. But being able to like full 180, I don't have any more pain in my body. I don't have to take the medication no more. And it's like, what are you doing? I I don't know. I pray to my ancestors. I honor my Ori every morning. I take spiritual baths. Like in the grand scheme of things, outside of like that, you know what, healing the soul, I'm going to address that because it was not my soul that needed healing. My soul was fine. It was my relationship with understanding my soul that needed healing. The soul is fine. The ego is the one that needs the healing because the ego thinks it's separate from the soul. Ego does not realize it is part of the Ori complex. It doesn't realize it's all the Ori and the ego are one. They go together real bad. It still thinks it's separate. That's why a lot of times we still think we're separate from the Most High. Is because our ego is through lived experience. Our ego develops with us, where our soul is developed across timelines and dimensions. Our ego is developed through our physical experience. It is our ego that needed the healing. Our soul is fine. And when we recognize that's where the healing is coming through, our soul then expands more through our ego's lived experience. And it doesn't realize they're working together. That's why when your Ori Inu or your Ipanri is giving you like downloads about things you should do, but your ego is like, we've never done that before. I don't know that it's safe. And so it's giving you that freak out moment, and you're having this internal dialogue where y'all are going back and forth with each other. It's because it doesn't know. So it was interesting for me to go through some of those things in my mental health. And now acknowledging, and it doesn't happen immediately. Why? Because I can be from time to time a little hard-headed, and so I don't always admit when something is wrong. I acknowledge that because I have an Aries mood. I can be a little hothead and, a little stubborn. And so I don't always acknowledge that something is wrong and you need support. Something is wrong and you need support. But what I do realize it is immediate, let's take action. And when I say let's take action, okay, like, do we need to rest? Is there something going on? Do I need to cleanse? What is the action that needs to be taken? Do I just need to talk to somebody and vent and say, look, can you hold space for me? Can you hold? That's the other part, is like affirming my boundaries around um the affirming the boundaries that have the lessons in the things that we are allowing in our life, making sure that um like, yeah, sometimes I could be a little bit, I'm okay with just sometimes, sometimes I'm okay with that. I could be a little stubborn. I have a fixed sign. It's fixed signs. We could be a little rooted in our behaviors because we're fixed. But I also can acknowledge when I'm being a little fixed, a little thick. I don't want to, yeah, I want to do that. And I feel like when I have those moments, though, I at least know what to pull on. Like right now, I can't go to therapy right now because I need to get some medical insurance that covers therapy. So since I can't see a therapist, I have to lean into those other things and even heavier. So I know who I can talk to because I can't talk to everybody. I know who I can talk to. I know who to call. It was like, hey, you got 10 minutes where you can hold space for me so I can pop off. I don't want you to save me or anything. What I need is 10 minutes to just go ham and say whatever's on my mind. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, they'll tend to say, cool, go off. Like June 18th last year. It feels weird to say last year. I'm still not used to that. Like we're in the new year. So June 18th last year, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Somebody tried to take me all the way out by Iwapele, and I was about to like not be okay. I was really about to like slide into a different kind of energy, and I was like, oh no, we need to, yeah, I need to talk to somebody. So I called. One was busy, and I called. I need to cuss now, real loud, and I need someone to like just hold the space with me. And I knew what I needed to do. And then I cleansed. I said whatever prayers I needed to do. And I did protection the following day because I understood where I was, why I was being triggered. And sometimes it's not always anger. Sometimes it's like earlier today. My birthday is coming up. And I'm having a conversation about my birthday. And I realized I don't know what I want for my birthday. Or at least in that moment when I first started talking about it, that's how I felt. Because, well, rather, I didn't know what I wanted for my birthday for myself. I thought of several things that would benefit other people. It's like somebody get me some beads. Why? So I can make different kind of elekes and things for other people, not for myself. It's not me wanting to make myself do elekes. I want to do this for other people. Like, or somebody invest in my business. That'll be cool. But my business is still for other people. So I'm thinking of all these things and realizing how many of the things that I'm saying, yes, they're cool. And yes, I would love them, but they are not for me inherently, personally. They are for other people. Even a desire for a new deck of tarot cards and oracle cards, even though I don't read cards for other people often, just because they'll be pretty and new, I'm going to want to do a tarot special just to use the cards for other people. I know myself. And so now I'm sitting there looking like sitting on the phone on the bubble of tears because I can't think of what I want for myself for my birthday. And I'm like, oh, Lord, we just gonna do some shadow work first thing this morning. That's the other thing that helped my mental shadow work. Why? Because sometimes you gotta look at stuff. You can't just leave it lying there, and you can't treat it like it's unworthy. You can't treat your shadow like it's unworthy. That's why it's in the shadow as it is now. Because we treat those feelings, those emotions, their experience for not worthy of light. So we tuck them away. We took them away because we feel like they're not worthy of the light of day. And so now I'm like, okay, what do I actually want for my birthday? Like, what does that actually look like? If I'm not thinking about anybody else, what does it look like for me to get what I want for my birthday? And I'm like, well, hell, I don't know. Like, this part of me, like, do I still want action? I was like, no, I just kind of want to be catered to. I want my nails done. I want my toes done. I want, yes, a spa day. I want my nails done. I want my toes done. I want my Ori to give me the green light to go get a head spa. Oh man, I want a Reiki. I want a Reiki massage. I don't just want a regular massage. I want a Reiki massage. Bonus points if I can get a sound bath. I want a Reiki massage, a head spa, nails and toes done. And I want to go eat. And I want to eat well for free. I got to go through all the little freebies you get for the birthday, see what restaurants give it on their plates. It's cool you give me appetizers. No, I want to. Who are the ones? Like Red Robin, you get a whole meal. In case y'all did not know. Those of y'all who like cheeseburgers. First off, I don't appreciate how loud my spirit is. Loud and egregious. Loud and egregious. So disrespectfully loud. But yeah, that too. I thought it's showing you what he was food. Like my spirit was loud and egregious. Like that was loud. Loud and egregious. All I want to know is, did you get the answer? Was that a yes? All I want to know was that a yes? Since everybody they being loud, answer the question. Is the answer yes? Because Ashe. Asheo, we received that. Received that. Thank you for being a vessel. Many thanks for you being the vessel of my sign today. Yeah. 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 We received that. We received that. And it's like having a relationship with spirit is with the most high, with my ancestors, my Ori, with um my spiritual court, honestly did help my mental. There were so many things that I thought were happening to me because I felt like God hated me. And that was why these things were like, these things are happening because I have pissed God off in some way and I can't make it right. And it was one of the first things that I said I wanted to be different when I got on, not specifically E5, but just having a different relationship with God journey. I normally say having a spiritual journey, but I feel like that limits it. It's a religious experience. And I know a lot of people like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And if you ask me, like, I am absolutely a religious mystic. Like, I'm a religious mystic. And it's like, how? You're not Christian. And I'm like, and that's where you don't know what the word religion means. Religion doesn't mean Christianity. Religion doesn't mean Judaism. Religion doesn't mean Islam. Religion doesn't mean being Buddhist, Hindu, or anything else. Religion means you believe in a higher power. And if you don't believe me, Google it. That's what the word means. You have a belief in a higher power that informs how you move. That's what it means. And if you practice it at ATR, you practice E5, you believe in Olodumare, the Most High Creator Source, just by any other name, you're in a religion. It's a religion. I can't say I'm not religious. I am religious. I very much believe in a higher power. And I'm also spiritual because I believe there are things that we cannot see that are moving in tandem with us in this world that support us. I believe that I am human and spirit. I am religious and spiritual, and those two things are supposed to go together. You can't believe in a higher power that you can't see and not be spiritual. That just sounds stupid. How you can believe in a higher power that you can't see but not be spiritual? Well, that's the definition of what spiritual is. You believe in things that you cannot see, i.e., spirits, and you believe in a higher power, which would be a big spirit. Like, you don't have to be like, I think that's the other part where I don't like when people say I left organized religion and I came to Ifa. Did you just call Ifa disorganized? What the? If it's not organized, it's disorganized. So are you in an organized religion or not? It is an organized religion. It's just not that one. They don't have the monopoly on being an organized religion. Exactly. Very organized. Look, very, it don't matter which denomination of the Orisha tradition that you go to, it is very organized. No matter which denomination, whether it is the traditional or the diasporic, they're all very organized. Like like, what do you mean? I left organized, like, right. And I think that's because we get on, I gotta stretch, social media, and we listen to, honestly, okay. This is what I get. And this is just the way I get it. Because we leave Abrahamic traditions and by and large find our ancestral religions. And so that is what we end up doing in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Whether it is diasporic or traditional, we find our ancestors. We end up trying to go home. Whereas others leave Abrahamic religions, but they don't inherently go back to their ancestral ones. Or they don't hone in on a particular one. So they don't always go back to their ancestral ones. They may find ours home, and it doesn't mean that there is not home for them there, but they don't inherently all the time go back to their own. Some do, but I think it takes some work for them to get back to them because they have been even more removed from them than we were. At least for us here in the African American diaspora and other aspects of the diaspora, there was something, anything that can be held on to that our blood would not let completely go away. Even if, so whereas in like other parts of the diaspora, they were able to birth another denomination of Orisha practice that is an offspring of the mother tradition. Cool. Or they would birth another denomination of Aloha practice that is still the offspring of the mother tradition. In African American diaspora, we ended up taking all of our African traditional religions and merging with some indigenous practices and birthing our own religious practice, our own spiritual system. But I don't know that that happened for the others, like whether they ended up being able to birth a version of those practices that were inherent to their ancestors. But for us, I know that we ended up something, we got to hold something. So, for instance, chanting verses of Odu is medicine. Learning your personal Odu is supportive to your life. It is part of your genetic, energetic blueprint. So, you being able to learn the Odu that is specifically you, that vibrates in your energy, yes, which makes it disorganized and that's what makes it disorganized. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It just, that's where the idea of going from organized to not, I think, comes from. Whereas for us, it's like we just want to go back to something that feels like home, where we have a much healthier relationship with the divine and ourselves, a much healthier relationship with the divine and the divine within ourselves. Like we are inherently looking for it. And so when we get here in the diaspora, it's like when I listen to people, I didn't grow up Christian, so I don't have a relationship with Black church. So anything I know about Black church, I hear from my friends or other people. I remember listening to Darcel one day, and he was talking about what it takes to become a member of a church. I said, bruh, that is an initiation. By any other names, that's an initiation. And he said, you're right. You're not wrong. That is an initiation. And I'm like, yo, like, we didn't let go of those things. It's just that it became taboo to acknowledge its Blackness. It became taboo to acknowledge that this particular trait, this particular ritual, this particular activity inherently comes from our African ancestors. It became taboo to even acknowledge it. So now they don't acknowledge it almost entirely. I listen to people and I happen to walk up on some. I grew up as an Israelite, but they're not the same kind of Israelites that I grew up as. Like, so walked up on a group at the river. Everyone's dressed in white, and they're doing a ritual at the river. Y'all y'all know that's African, right? Like y'all know, like it's almost like y'all are being willfully obtuse. It's like you actually don't believe that that comes from your African, whether they were voodoo or Isheshe or Kali or any Sangoma, any other. You don't know. You just absolutely refuse to acknowledge that that practice came right at the river in white. You are you serious right now? Like, you're just not going to acknowledge it. You're just refusing. You're being willfully obtuse. It's like you're being willfully obtuse. You pick verses from the Bible. We chant verses from the Odu. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The behaviors are the same. The tools being used are varied and different, but it's literally the same thing. And it's like you refuse to hold a conversation because you refuse to hear that you are easily able to listen to Master and you are refusing to listen to your ancestors. It's easier for you to believe what Master told them than it is for you to believe what your ancestors did. And that, just admit it. Just admit it. Like, that's anti-Blackness. We have the work we have to do internally. That is anti-Black because that's exactly what it is. I've already begun to see, after certain videos and messages and whatnot, I've already begun to see we need to, just a reminder, we are not our ancestors. And I'm like, just a reminder, you definitely are not, but I am 1000% my ancestors. Cause ain't no day I would ever say that disrespectful shit about my ancestors. Like not with me walking around with this gap that says whether it's Yoruba, Igbo, or some other form that I am clearly of Nigerian descent. There is no way I'm gonna walk around looking like several generations of Africanness that I would ever deny my ancestors. There is no possible way that I could deny that every bone, every blood, every cell, every molecule is vibrating with the memory of legions of ancestors. There is just no way I could fix myself to say that. But you're right. You might not be, but I most certainly am. I most certainly am. Y'all, the ones that say that are the ones that believe that Massa them was getting sick just because, and that there were ancestors in the house poisoning their food. The people who say we're not our ancestors are the ones that poo poo on hoodoo and don't realize that the hoodoo practice and ancestors, those conjurers or root workers, were the ones doing work to try to protect and save and do all of these things behind the scenes. Like the ones who say we are not our ancestors don't know anything about them. And if their ancestors told them today, I need you to tap into your ancestral practices because that is the thing that is going to support you in this moment. That is the thing that's going to protect you in this moment. You wouldn't do it. So you're right. You're not your ancestors. Your ancestors knew better. Your ancestors knew how to stay ready so they didn't have to get ready. And they learned from their mistakes. The ancestors learn from their mistakes. They see where the misstep happened. They see where they trusted and they should not have. And so now, every single bit. And now what they said is, okay, don't do what we did. Don't do what we did. Learn from what we did. Now we know from because we can now see from a higher perspective because we're not human anymore. So we're not trapped in the limited beliefs of our ego. We actually can see our mistakes. And thus you don't have to make the same ones. We can see what's coming because now we see from a higher perspective. So we can help you miss all those obstacles, miss all those potholes. We can help you smooth out those roads. We can help you put up those walls that need to be put up. It's like the shenanigans. It's like, why are y'all like this? Why? Why are you like this? And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to comment on the post because I don't have time. I'm not gonna comment on the post because I don't have time. I don't have time for. I got time. I really don't. I really sincerely do not have the time and energy to go back and forth with nobody. You go ahead and not be them. You go ahead and not be all the ones that made it possible for you to be here. And when you say I didn't mean it like that, then don't say that because you sound stupid. You sound mad, disrespectful. So don't say it. That's not what you mean. Don't say it. Say what you mean. Say what it is that you mean. If you mean something else, then say that. Because the idea that you know that you saw your ancestors who like black women standing on the front line protecting their brothers, standing there taking them hoses and all of those things. You think they did that because they was weak? Okay. Because I feel like that's what they think. I think they see those water hoses and they think it's because they're weak. That's what you think. You see the water hoses and like, well, if it was me, I would have done something different. You don't know that you weren't there. You don't know what the decision making process was for them to stand in front of the water hoses and stand where them dogs were. You don't know. You have no idea. You have no idea what it looked like for the women inside that house. You don't know. You had no idea. And when you say stuff like that, it is so egregiously disrespectful. It's so egregiously disrespectful. And it clearly says that you have no honor for your ancestors. And I feel bad for your ancestors. Because how in the world could you fix your lips to say that? Looking the way you looking. Looking like one of them. And this is what you choose to do with your lips. This is how you choose to speak on them. Not okay. It's not. And they have taught us to disregard them while we carry their ancestors in our pockets to go pay for our food and to go pay for our things. They have taught us to honor their ancestors. They have taught us to take their ancestors' holidays off. They have taught us all the stories of their ancestral practices and continue to tell us that ours were evil. And the idea that that's easy for you to believe. It's easy for you to believe that your ancestors were evil as opposed to believing that the ones that enslaved them were. That part. Like, it's not our job to make anyone be who they're not meant to be. Everyone is meant to be who they are meant to be on their own path. I can only I share with how Ifa in the tradition has been supportive to me and my students, but it still doesn't mean you gotta come. It still doesn't mean you gotta come. I can tell you every day that it's like they told you that your ancestors were savages and didn't believe in God before white people showed up. I could tell you that. But it doesn't mean that you're going to understand why your black friends want to tap in to those ancestral practices. I can't make you understand that because it's not meant for you to understand. If it was, then you would end up, the curiosity would get you. I can't make my Christian clients come out the closet and admit they come to me for readings. They're not ready to make that. They're ready to get that reading though, because they already know. They're ready to get that reading. But in getting that reading, it doesn't mean they're inherently going to come to Ifa. It does not mean they're going to come to the tradition. And this is with some of them get their head cleansed and everything. It does not mean they're going to become a convert. But I take it as a good sign that they can at least see the medicine. They can at least see that, okay, yeah, I'm going to church every day, but I also know that every time she tells me something, that joint come true. So yeah, I would still go and check her out from time to time. And I'm gonna go again and get that reading from her. And I'm gonna go ahead and let her cleanse my head because I know that when I do those things, good things happen. So I'm gonna still do those things. And I'm gonna be okay with that. I'm not gonna say, okay, you know what? You can't come to me anymore unless you convert. No. The medicine of Ifa is for everybody. The ceremony is not. But the medicine that Ifa has is for everybody. The medicine is for everybody. Ceremony.
Cat, mommy.
Where do you see a cat? Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the heads up. Yep.
I like talking with you.
I like talking with you too.
It's a snowy day.
It is a snowy day.
It's a raindrops.
Not raindrops, snowflakes.
Snowflakes.
Yes. Yes.
It's snowflake.
You ate a snowflake? Okay. Awesome sauce. Yes. 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 They're not like, and I appreciate that. Like, my mom is by far not a Christian. Um, and, but she doesn't practice Ifa either. However, my mom says something going on, and it's like really, really something going on. Like the other day, she's like, "Yo, what the planet's doing?" I was like, "What?" She said, "What are the planets doing right now? Because I'm off and da 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 da." She'll ask me, "What's up with the planets?" And I'm like, "Well, you know what? I haven't checked transits recently. Let me go look. Let's go see what the planets are doing." If I say I'm giving an offering on behalf of the family, she'll send me something as a thank you. If I say she has something going on and I'm like, I don't know, but I probably should divide on it, she'll say okay. She'll say okay. She doesn't have to be in the tradition. She just understands there's medicine there. She understands there's medicine there. And that's the part. Like I said, it would be like, even if it's not meant for them to come and have ceremony, understanding that their ancestors had wisdom in medicine. That's for me, that would be my one wish. You ain't got to practice the same religion to understand that if your friends and your loved ones have found their African roots and that's where they find solace, that's where they find grounding, that's where they find peace, that's where they find wellness and wholeness. Why, with your black skin, would that bother you? If anything, you should encourage them because you understand that response that you found the solace in what you have, but you also understand that what you have came at a price. What you have was not a gift. It was not given to us as a gift. One of my students said that. It's like one of my former students was like, they did not get that religion as a gift. It was given as a punishment. The religion was not given to us as a gift. It wasn't like, here, we want you to have salvation here. No, this was a punishment. It was used as torment and torture. It became adopted as a religion. But understand that's not its intention, was what it given to our ancestors. And so being able to understand why your friends and your family members and whoever else, hold on, puzzle piece, decided that they were going to go a different route, a different way. And you're like, what is the intrigue? Why this? Because I think a lot of times the misconception is we come to ATRs because we don't believe in God. That's not true. That's not, there's one fallacy. I wholeheartedly believe there's in God there is only one God. And for the record, in case anyone who is new here, the Orishas are not gods. The Orishas are not gods. They are divinities, deities, divine energy, but they are not gods. They're not gods. The westernized interpretation of what they are is like they're not gods. They're divinities. They're deities. They're not gods. You know how angels are not gods? They're deities, divinities. Orishas are not gods. They're deities, divinities. They are the divine expression of certain energies. They are not gods. There is only one God. That is it. One God with many praise names. One God just the same. God's consciousness emanating, experiencing throughout nature is the Orishas. Just like in Kemetic tradition, there is not more than one God. The Inter are not gods. They are the faces of the one. They are the faces of the one. There is only but one, and the Inter are the faces. The Inter are the faces of that one more than like I haven't found an African based religion that believes in more than one. Exactly. Paid for in flesh, blood, and bone. It was not a gift. It was paid for. It was not a gift. Was not a gift. And the infusion of African spiritual practices within the thing that makes the Black version different from others, and you want to not acknowledge that it's there. It's wild to me, but that is what it is. You like it? Enjoy that. If that makes you feel good, enjoy it. I can't understand it, but it's not meant for me to understand. And that is challenging because you can had, and it hurts when those who look like you can't see it. It hurts. But I feel like the more important piece would be to just respect it. Respect it. Respect that the Most High ain't got but what has more than one phone number. Like it's not a burner phone that only works in the middle of the woods. If you're standing on one foot, jumping and singing this one particular tune, that's not how the communication with the source of all existence works. And if you feel like the all powerful, all knowing source of all of creation only has one phone number, you have put that particular larger than life energy in a very small box. No one holds the monopoly on how to get in touch with the divine. No one. Not a single tradition holds the pure monopoly. Everyone is hoping that they have it right. Everyone is hoping that they have it right. And it is the humility to know that knowing the one all is completely impossible to know in totality. You can't know the source of all in totality. So the audacity to think that you know the one and only way to call on the thing that is unknowable is insane. That is crazy work to me. You don't know. Because there is not only one way. There's not only one way. And as long as the medicine is not hard, this is the way I see it. You'll know when your spiritual religious practice works for you. It is what is going to be honoring true for you because it brings you wellness. It brings you comfort. When you don't spend every day thinking that you are going to be judged for the most minor of transgressions, understand we have ill, we have advisories, we have taboos, but we are not judged because we broke a taboo. No one's judging you. If you got, I got a taboo of eating like corn, eating corn. I'm allergic to corn. That's why it's a taboo. I'm allergic to corn. So if I get an allergic reaction to corn, am I being punished by God? No, I have an allergy to corn. This is why it was given to me as a taboo. It's not that someone's punishing me. It's a protection. Don't eat the shit because you're allergic. Don't eat it because you're allergic. It's not good for you. You should not eat that. Don't wear that color. Why? Because it symbolizes death in your country. Don't wear that. Stop putting that on all the goddamn time. You need to lighten up. Also, it hides you. So then people can't see you. It's easier for you to blend in with everybody else when you walking around dressed in all black. I want you to stand out. You look different when you don't wear all that black, which is facts. I do look different. Don't work after dark. You know how hard that was being? That's a new one. Don't work after dark. Whew. And I mean, like, this live is ending in 15 minutes. Don't work after dark. Why? One, because you're trying to cultivate a lifestyle that is stress free. You're trying to cultivate a life that is stress free. You want to get it in a certain way. And exactly, you get a taboo for pork. Why you can't eat pork? Because it's raising your goddamn blood pressure, nut job. Ain't nobody punishing you. It's a protection. Nobody's judging you. It's a protection. It's a protection. You're doing something that's blocking your good fortune. It's blocking your blessings. We want you to stop. And so when you do it, and then a blessing is blocked, nobody punish you. We said don't do that because when you do it, it's blocking your blessings. Nobody's punishing you. That's the beauty. Nobody is punishing you. Ain't nobody judging you. Ain't nobody punishing you. This works for you. This doesn't work for you. Do what works for you. Do what's in alignment for you. Live in the fullness of what your truth is. Everybody ain't supposed to be vegan, contrary to popular belief. Everybody ain't supposed to be vegan. Everybody ain't supposed to fast. I know that's gonna really burn some. Like you have to fast to get closer to God. No, you don't. You just gotta figure out what works for you and get closer to God. You ain't gotta fast to do that. Well, God don't need you to fast. God does not need you to fast. It does nothing for God because you stop eating. And all things considered, since God is living and breathing as you stop eating, you stop giving food to God. So, like I'm just saying, everybody ain't meant to fast. Some people are. Some people aren't meant to fast. I can't fast. It is a taboo for me to fast. Not only is it taboo for me to fast, but if you look at my human design, it says fasting is bad for my body. I'm not supposed to fast. And it's like, well, how you get closer to God? I don't have to give up food to get closer to God. Shenanigans, tomfoolery. If you feel like that's the only way that you can do it, by all means, go off and do what you do, homie. But understand that is not the only way for you to get close to God. God's already close to you. Every time you look in the mirror, God's already close to you. You know your spiritual practice works when your relationship with the Most High is not built on suffering. Suffering is a possible eventuality. But however, with the appropriate behavioral changes, listening to the wisdom of whatever sacred system that you have, and observing your taboos and giving your offerings, you can minimize the amount of said things happening in your life. And if they are treated like a badge of honor, it just means that God is doing something good for it. Or it could be like what I just happened in real time today. I said a prayer earlier today. Nobody was here. My kids weren't even here when I said that prayer. My kids were not here when I said that prayer. And in real time, in the live, somebody heard what I asked for and gave me the answer I asked for. I answered for a very specific answer in a very specific way. I said, give it to me so I don't miss it. Give it to me in a way where it is unmistakable to me. Nobody was here when I made that prayer. Nobody was here. I wasn't even on the phone. So nobody heard it. Your spirit, you know, when your religious and spiritual practice works, it's when you can do that. When you can do that, the Most High is not out of the business of making miracles. It's just you don't know what kind of miracle to ask for. The Most High is not out of the business of making miracles. It's just you don't know what kind of miracle you want to ask for because you feel like, well, what Red Sea can, like, it don't have to be parting of the Red Sea. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be dope, though. But what if it's just something else for you? You don't know what kind of miracle to ask for. And then even if you know what kind of miracle to ask for, you don't feel like if you ask for it, you'll get it because you're in a religion or spiritual system that says you have to prove your worthiness in order to get your blessings. And Ifa says you were born worthy. You already made the choices for all these good things and great things in your life simply by virtue of you coming from heaven to earth. You already, like, just what do you like call align? That's what you do. You align. That's what you do. You align. You align through behavior, you align with Ebo, whatever it is, you align. Not the spiritual Wi-Fi signal had full bars. I like that. I like that. It was good. I think use that one. Your spiritual Wi-Fi had all like all 5 bars. All 5 bars. You align. You ain't gotta go through the trauma unless you choose to. You ain't gotta go through the pain unless you choose to. I I'm doing everything I can not to. Like I have like immediately said I no longer desire to go through hardship anymore. I just have no desire to do so. Whatever the EMBO is or the change of behavior, what I say like people, things, just let the whatever it is. Bye. Bye. Like let it go. Like you don't want to be wearing a black. Okay, cool. I'm not going to wear black. But there's no part of me that has an expectation for sadness. There's no part of me that has an expectation for pain being the thing that has to lead to my blessings. I have an expectation of I gave my EMBO was received at Oru, and it was approved. That's and then is there a behavioral change? Okay, cool. I can't work after dark. I don't like it, but okay. I do some of my best creating after dark, but okay. But okay. I do some real good work after dark, but okay. I also get why I can't work after dark. Working after dark sounds like I gotta hustle all day in order to get what I want. And my Henri said, no, that's not the life I chose. So I'm gonna need you to stop trying to be something that you're not. My Henri said, I didn't choose that life. I chose Empress energy, and right now you operating like a page. Ooh, ooh, that was aggressively loud and disrespectful. You supposed to be operating in Empress energy, and right now you operating like a page. Clock out. Okay, okay, I'll clock out. All right. And when I'm not aligning, understanding, I'm gonna get that sign that says, hey, 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 you are not moving in alignment in the way that you are supposed to be moving. So nah, I can't. The throne is taken. I'm allowing myself to sit on the throne. I allow myself to sit on the throne. And yes, Janiqua, huge oops. The other night, I'll be honest. So my students know I have been dealing with some blood pressure issues, and they don't know is that I have been dealing with some chest pains as well. And I spent a couple of days in a row really thinking I needed to go to the hospital because my chest was hurting so bad. And I know somebody's gonna like, how do you know when something is physical and not spiritual? Like I do all the practical things first. I checked my blood pressure, I did all the things. And I eventually noticed a pattern. And the pattern was around 7, 8 o'clock, I'm sitting in front of my laptop trying to design content. And my chest would start to hurt. Bad. And I was like, okay. And so I called somebody mid hurt. And it was like, I think you have a taboo that you don't know about. I like, can you cast on it for me? Because I'm not allowed to divine after dark. And he's like, yeah. And he confirmed it for me. I said, because he said, yes, there was one. And so I asked him very specifically, is it taboo for me to work after the sun has gone down? Yes. Oh, come on. And I mean, very specifically, and so the other night, because I was in a lack mindset, I'm being real honest. I was in a lack mindset. I was like, I have to get this content done because if I don't get this content done, XYZ is not going to be able to happen. And Spirit has been like, no, move. I'm going to make it happen for you. I promise you. I promise you, I'm going to make it happen. They're not going to be able to find me if I can't make the content. I promise you, it's going to happen. But that particular night, I was also in a real, like I was on a roll, and I didn't stop what I was supposed to. And sure enough, the other night, I'm sitting around on my couch like this. Now I got to call my god sibling. Like, hey, you free? Sis need a little help. Sister needs a little help. I need you to look at me so I know if I need to go to the hospital or is it something else. So she jumped on a video call with me so that we could shift and move energy that needed to be moved. But it was like when I say particular Arisha came through, like, this is why we told you don't do that. Yes, ma'am. Noted. Noted. I'm gonna stop. So I can't work after dark, which means that I have to do a lot of lifestyle changes with how I work and how I do things because I'm used to being able to continue working until 8, 9 o'clock. And now I can't. And so now I have to make lifestyle changes because it's not just after dark. I am not allowed to start working until the sun is in the sky. If the sun is not in the sky, I'm not working. I'm not working. And that is how spirit wants me to move. And it's like, but everybody else, you ain't everybody else. We don't want you not sleeping at night. I want you to rest. I want you to rest. I want you to go to sleep. Turn that light on, sweetie. Thank you.
I need coolers, please.
You're gonna have to wait till I'm done. I'll give it to you in a minute.
Neat. I know you are waiting.
So, understanding Sunday. Hold on. I gotta think. Was it Sunday? Hold on. Like 2 days ago, Sunday? That might have been Saturday or Sunday. One of them 2 days. It was Saturday or Sunday. That was the issue. Yeah, it might have been Sunday, but I feel like it was Saturday. I feel like it was that, but yeah, it was somewhere recent. It was really recent. It was really, really recent, and yeah, in the last few days, where I was just like, oh no, I should have logged out. No, it was not Sunday. Sunday was Gabriel's birthday. No, it wasn't Sunday. It was before. So it was probably Friday. Probably Friday. Yep, probably Friday because it wasn't Gabriel's birthday. Gabriel's birthday, I was fine. And I purposely set it for when I did so that I was not the one leading it. I was a part of it, but I was not in charge of it. It was not my session, it was his. And that was intentional because I knew I could not. And also because I can't call on the ancestors at night. So since I can't call on the ancestors at night, it had to be him to do it for me so that the right energy was called in. So yeah. No, so it wasn't Sunday that was the issue. This was before Sunday. So I feel like it was like Friday. I feel like it was Friday. Friday was like, yeah. Friday, I'm like, hey, what are y'all Reiki practitioners? Get on the video chat with your girl and help me. And help me because I think I messed up. And I knew I did. I knew immediately when the pain hit because I hadn't had any pain for days leading up to that day. And it was like, yep, I worked too long. I was doing too much. And now, yeah. But it was like once I acknowledged that that's what happened, I was able to move the energy just fine. And so it's like, okay, you can't, like, you really can't. And I see all the people making the posts. I'm up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning working. I'm grinding, Because if you don't do it at 2, that ain't for everybody. And what I learned more often than not from Ify, we are meant to live. Our ancestors didn't want that for us. Spirit doesn't want that for us. That is an optical illusion. That's an optical illusion. It is a limiting. In order to be successful, you have to be a workaholic. And what's crazy is you see all these billionaires who are not doing that, and yet you still think that's the way you're supposed to get it. You see all these millionaires and billionaires who did not do that, and you still feel like that's the only way that you can get it. And it's not like I don't have this vision of I'm going to be a millionaire, a billionaire. I want to be nice. And I know what nice looks like for me. I know what nice looks like for me. I'm like, I just want nice. I just want it nice. If that's a bill, cool. Whatever it is, I want to be nice. I just want to put all my bills on auto draft. I want to put all my bills on auto pay and get my nails done. I want to get all the bills on auto pay and get my nails done. I got some other things that I want, and as long as I have all those things, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. And your spiritual practice should support you in doing that. It should not have you feeling like you can't have because you lack in some way. I think Oyeko Benji is the one where we were talking about it was the child of the one who gave fish bones as Embo when looking for children. And I asked them, why do we feel like that was significant? Why is that Owl's name is significant? It's a child of the one who gave fish bones as Embo. If you give fish bones as Embo, what does that mean? That means it's all you got. They had no fish. They had the bones. They had no fish. All they had were the bones. That's it. That's the only thing they had. The only thing they had was the bones. Ooh, grinding will turn you to dust. That's a word right there. Grinding will turn you to dust is a word. That is a word. That is a word right there. And so I would give y'all this too. So from the Oyeko Manji, you learned that you give what you got. This person wanted children. The only thing they had to give was fish bones. And they had a child, which says you don't have to have the giant altar. You don't have to have all of the things. You have to have effective Ofuashe and give with earnest whatever you got, what you got. And this does not have to be your last. I think I followed somebody the other day because she made a post and this woman asked her what kind of oil should she buy if she only has $35. And the woman said, you should not be buying an oil for me. Let me tell you what you can do with what you got at home. That right there, immediate follow. Immediate follow. I'm following you. Because exactly. Here's what you can do with what you got at the house. Here you go. There are going to be things that are done that require energy exchange. And this is where, if those, like, I've had students where they weren't working. They come to me, they find me, and they're like, yo, I'm not working, but I need to know what your class costs. And I'm not asking for a discount. I genuinely want to know what it costs. Do you know how hard it was for me to tell them what the class costs? This is me coming out of my lack mindset because that's the other piece of it. If I'm in a state of lack and I keep trying to bring things down, there no one that's supposed to come to me is going to make the come up. So I include in my prayers that the people who are meant to find me are able to come to me with ease, that they have the prosperity and the increase that they need to have in order to be able to take advantage of classes, services, products, whatever the case may be, that they are in a space of prosperity where they can actually take advantage. But I have to believe that will take place. And how do I show I believe it? I have to align what my services are with the value that their intrinsic value, and what spirit says is the appropriate amount, because I divine on all of them. There isn't a single price on my website for something that I did not immediately ask my Ori and my ancestors what it's supposed to cost. Every single one. What is it supposed to cost? And when I say I told her that, and in 2 weeks she had the money. I don't know how she got it. Long as she didn't do nothing illegal. I don't know how she got it. But what I know is she had the money. Ashe, 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 ashe. When I can like breathe again, breathe again, breathe again, I will definitely be able to like. I had started laying them out because I was like trying to see it. So I started laying the beads out so I could see it. And so I can somewhat see it now. Like I feel like I know what it's gonna look like. Um, in a general sense. But now I see it clearer now that the beads are laid out. So this is going to be interesting when I get it done, because I'm really, 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 really excited for the Aladuna strands, which is what I think their official name is going to be. I'm really excited for those. So before it gets dark, I want to leave y'all with some words from a death doula on living. And I was inspired because I just did an interview around being a death doula. And one of the questions he asked me was like, what are some things about how I live differently because of being a death doula? So number one is certain things I don't say. Life is too short. Life is long. Days are short. Life is long. Days are short. I am not calling for death early. I have no desire to see myself leave this world early. Thus, I am not going to hex myself and invite that eventuality in by perpetually speaking things that indicate it could leave early. So, life is short is not ever going to be part of my vocabulary. Life is long. I'm trying to see what that 130 years old looking like a snack look like. I'm trying to see what that looked like. I'm trying to play with my great grandchildren. I don't know about anybody else. You do what you want to do, but I'm trying to play with my great grandkids. Live every day like it's your last. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm going to live every day to the fullest. Period. That's the end of the sentence. That's the end of the sentence. I will live every day to the fullest. Period. That's the end of the sentence. This whole like it's your last. Why? Why are y'all so like? Why are y'all ready to die? Why? Why do you keep inviting that into your space? It will come when it is meant to. And for as far as I'm concerned, I'll be real old. I'll be old by the time it shows up. So I'm trying to enjoy life. I'm trying to live it to the fullest. I'm trying to see my dreams and aspirations come true. And I don't need to be invoking the ending of my life in order to do so. So just live. The thing that you want to do, and you're like, well, I'm too old to do. You're not. You're not too old to do it. You're not. The book that you want to write, write it. The book that you want to write it. That poetry showcase that you want to do it. And do it even if it's only 2 people. Let me just explain to you that it's not always going to look like a stadium full of people supporting you. You're not always going to get the awards and the accolades that you see other people get. You're not always going to be as popular as everyone else. You're just not. You may not always have the 10,000 followers. I don't want 10,000 followers that are following me just because they're following everybody. I don't want you to follow me because you're following everybody. Follow me because I said something that nourished your spirit, and you want to see how often I'm going to say that. How many times are you going to come to my content and be nourished in some way? Come to me because you want to learn about Ifa. Follow me because you want to learn a little bit, like the astrology nuggets I drop from time to time, or some numerology nuggets from time to time. Like, Alafia, Agboato, Ashodi, and Wadi Wofu. Like, come to me because that's what you want. Come to me because you've been looking for an owl in the diaspora that understands your black ass experience, and you're trying to figure out how you can live everyday Isheshe while living the everyday Black American experience. Come to me because that's what you want. Come to me because you want to learn how to cultivate a life of self-love and alignment with your ancestral practices that is supported by Isheshe. You come to me for that. Follow me because you like she's an Ianifa who is also a blurred. Say less. Get you somebody that can do both. You come to me because I'm going to use references from Naruto to explain what Orisha initiation actually is. Come to me because you want stuff like that. But don't follow me just for the sake of following me. Follow me because there is something that you are receiving. It is an energy exchange. Don't come to me because you're just trying to drain it. Come to me because there is a mutual exchange of energy. You want to like my content. You want to repost my one time for those who repost my stuff. That is helpful. Thank you. Like, you want to repost my stuff. Like, come to me for those things. I don't need 10,000 wannabe followers when I can have 2,000 genuine followers. That to me is better. That to me is better. I don't need 2,000 when I can have 200 strong devotees of the tradition that feel like I have something that offers them nourishment. You want the Naruto breakdown? I got time. Initiation does not give you Orishas. One time again, Orisha initiation does not give you an Orisha. All of the Orishas already exist within our body. We are a full embodiment of Mother Nature. We are Mother Nature in human form. We are a walking embodiment of the Most High. Orisha are the consciousness of the Most High within nature. That consciousness within nature also exists within us. We always have access to that consciousness within us, just at varying degrees from person to person. Somebody else may be very easily able to see the obstacles in their road and remove their obstacles. Whether they know it or not, they consciously have a way to access the Ashe of Ogun easier just because that's how they're built. It's not that the other person doesn't have it. This person easily taps into it without effort. It's like your spiritual gifts. Everybody has them all. Everybody can tap into them at varying degrees. What initiation does is, if you consider where each of the Orisha lives in your energetic field is like a house in a yard with a gate. The gate is already slightly cracked. Initiation removes the gate altogether. That way the Ashe can flow out without any hindrance. This is like Guy Sensei and the 9 gates, or 8 gates. In the 8 gates, everybody has access to chakra. Chakra exists in everybody. That energy is always present. Some people have a better access to it, stronger access to it not. However, there is still a controlled stream of that chakra energy passing through each one of them. The technique of the 8 gates allows for Guy and Rock Lee to open the gate where the chakra energy throws through their network so that more of it is coming through. Initiation is that same process. It is unlocking the gate. The gate where that Orisha lives already is partially open. That's why that energy flows through. That's why you can breathe. You can breathe because the gate where Oya lives is partially open, which means the wind in the air that flows through in and out our lungs is always there. It's always there. You go to initiation and you receive Oya through ceremony. You're not actually receiving her. You are unlocking the gate where she lives. You're unlocking the gate where that Orisha lives. And that's deepening in the connection to the Ashe, where it can be more of a support to you and aligning to your destiny. You only receive what you are meant to in this lifetime to support you in aligning with your destiny. Just because this person needs two orishas and this person may need five doesn't mean that person's destiny is more important than the person whose destiny has two. Hold on. Why is he so sweet? Um, so being able to understand that when that happens, just because this person, like, why do they have all those Orisha? Because their destiny requires it. Period. That's it. It's not that they're more important than you or anything. Their destiny requires that they receive X number of Orisha, where your destiny requires receive, and understand that it's not always made clear. And that's why I enjoy when the question comes up and I bring it. This is not about level of who's more important than the other person. This is what is in support of your destiny. Period. It's not a matter of importance or anything like that. What is going to support your destiny, period? You will learn as you make up bonding with, embodying that Orisha, because I also say I don't work with them, I embody them. Embodying those Orishas, Ikali, um, embodying those Orishas will then help you to understand why you needed to initiate that Orisha. I am an Aquarius Sun, Mars, Mercury. I have a stellium in Aquarius and a very prominently placed Uranus. My connection to Shango was direct because Shango is associated with Uranus and Aquarius. I still needed to initiate Shango because the Aquarius's journey is to be more like Leo. Aquarius is cool being behind the scenes. Aquarius has all the ideas. Why? Because the Aquarius is a sign of I know. It is the one that pours knowledge from source on the world. That's what it's bearing. The water that the water bearer is pouring is knowledge. It is knowledge from the Most High. The wisdom from source. It is the second wisest sign in all of the zodiac. But it don't want to be seen. I'm cool with being behind the scenes. I'm cool with playing the supporting cast member. Long as you implement my idea. Leo is a sign of I lead. The journey between the two, because they're sibling signs, is to go from I lead because I know, and I know, therefore I lead. That is the medicine of that access. I was still in the I know. I was still in the energy of I know. And Shango was trying to get me into the energy of I lead. So I had to. I had to learn that. So now Shango got me outside, like letting people look at me. Shango got me outside, making people see me and stuff. Because Shango's journey, when you listen to the Etans, was about coming to accept that he was the heir apparent to the throne. And Shango was like, but I'm trying to do all this other stuff. Shango had all of these skills, dancer, drummer, diviner, wizard, and like, okay, you have all these skills that you could be using to lead. Ooh, you want to be in charge? People to listen to me? Yeah, Shango had to get there and accept his calling. That's the Aquarius. They have to get to where they accept their calling, and then that calling is going to require, and a lot of times, for them to be seen. Yamoja. Most people who know me personally would think Yemoja should have been a no-brainer. I probably should not have needed to initiate Yemoja. And they would be not completely off. Yemoja heals my relationship as a mother. There were so many things I was blaming myself for. The passing of my firstborn, my sons being autistic. There were things that I was blaming myself for, thinking less of myself as a mother. Yeah, hold on. Now I gotta go backwards. When what was? What did I ask you in class? Remind me, child. And then type fast. Because I got maybe I got 10 minutes before it's really actually sundown. Yeah, I got about 10, 15 minutes. So being able to understand why I needed those auditions. May 2025 is your solar return. Why did I ask you about your solar return? Do you remember what the conversation was? I just want somebody to come blow my nose for me. Like, okay. Um, yeah, see why? Because I don't remember. I don't remember why I would have asked. And y'all gotta remember, sometimes in class I'm teaching, but I might actually be channeling too. I don't be remembering. I don't be remembering. I will be uploading playbacks, not now, but in the morning I'll start uploading playbacks too. I don't know if I'm gonna be driving them kids in the morning. We'll see. But I'm not sure if I'm driving to the other side of town in the morning. Not in the morning. If they were going in the afternoon, different. But in the morning, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Last few minutes. Anybody got any questions for me? Comments for me? Emotional outbursts for me? I will just say that my 12-month mentorship program, Ori Pathways, is accepting students. We have class on this coming Sunday. We are currently journeying through the Ori complex, portion of the Ori complex known as the Ayanmo, where our charts live, like our birth charts live. So we just did our natal astrology birth chart, and we are going to do human design on Sunday. I'm changing the order. So Sunday, instead of doing numerology, we're going to do human design. Ashe. We're going to do human design on Sunday. I'm really excited about that. So Ori Pathways is available for enrollment. You can enroll and just be in the program, or you can enroll per class. Hey, when was Itano Good? When did we, like, I don't have my book in front of me. When was Itano Good? Let me see if I can Google without disrupting my YouTube stream. Uh, because I keep feeling like Itano Good is tomorrow. And I'm like, when did we get together last? I don't remember. Because, yes, I'm still going to do O'Shea tomorrow, but I feel like O'Shea I feel like tomorrow's Itano Good. If it's not tomorrow, it's this week. So that's what I just need to know is what date was Itano Good last? When was the last Itano Good? Because I feel like if it's not tomorrow, then it is this week. So if Itano Good is not tomorrow, then yes, I'm gonna do O'Shea in the morning. On the 8th, So no, it's not. It's the next. The next one is Itanogu. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. So if it's the 8th, then yeah. So not tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is Itanogu. Okay, got it. Oh, Sunday's Itanogu. Oh, oh, eek. Okay, okay. Lord, that's gonna make for a long day. That is gonna make for a long day. Okay, I'm trying to decide. I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna do Sunday because if I have that right, the next O'Shea is Sunday, and I'm hoping I'm off by a day. I hope Itanogun is Saturday. I hope it's Saturday and not Sunday because it's Sunday. That's gonna make for a long day. But yes, O'Shea is still going to happen in the morning. And I am definitely endeavoring to be up in time so that I can be logged in like 8:30, 8:45, like the calendar says, because I don't think I'm taking my kids in the morning. I don't think I'm taking them to ABA therapy in the morning because yeah, I need that snow and stuff to melt just a little bit before I go try to drive on it. And first thing in the morning is probably gonna be too cold. So we probably just gonna be here. So yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Anything else y'all need from me? Any questions? You said it was on the 6th? Nah, it's tomorrow. Oh. Okay, it's tomorrow. I posted it on the 8th, but the actual casting was on the 6th. Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Okay, so that being said, O'Shea is going to happen tomorrow, but it may or may not be first thing in the morning. Um, if it is first thing in the morning, I'm not casting in the morning. I may do veneration first thing in the morning, but after I'm done venerating, then I'm going to be sitting with Oluo um, to do the casting for the Egbe for Itanogu, and then I will be doing my temple's casting. My sister will be here. I'll probably cast for us about 2 o'clock. I'll probably do the casting about 2. So I may give offerings and things first thing in the morning, and then I'll cast our Itanogu Odu that afternoon. I just won't do them back to back like I normally do. Yeah, that's probably how I'll do that. So which means I will likely be on veneration earlier so that can be done. Um, I'll ask him. We'll talk like we're gonna talk in a few. So I'll ask him and see what he says. I'll ask him because I was thinking about that earlier. So I'll ask him and see what he says. I have a different yeah. So I'll ask him about it and see what he says. All right. Anything else, y'all? Anything else for me? Well, calendar is open for anybody looking for divination services. Even if you can't sit with me live and you want me to do it and record it for you, by all means, I have specials available for divination. I now have focused consultation services available. So instead of getting like a full divination, let's say you only want to know about a specific topic, you can book per topic. Otherwise, I will see y'all in the burden. Thank y'all so much for the time and hanging out with me. I kind of just wanted to see if I could go live on TikTok. That was really just what I wanted to see. I don't know. We'll see how things go with TikTok. If I keep veneration live here or not for obvious reasons. or if I end up moving it all to Zoom. But it's right now, it's going to be a TikTok. So I will see y'all live in the morning. Zoom will be open in the morning and all the good things. Otherwise, Odapo. Do, 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 do. Don't you worry about a thing.